Good day everyone, we are group 5 and now let's talk about thermodynamics. So first, objectives. At the end of this self-learning kit, you should be able to differentiate the thermodynamics processes, interpret PV diagrams of the thermodynamic process, and solve problems involving ideal gas equations and thermodynamic processes, and derive the expression for the work done by as a gas. So now let's talk about the law of thermodynamics. So this page explains what thermodynamic is. So thermodynamic is the study of how heat, energy, and work are related to each other. And it focuses on how energy can be transferred, moved from one place to another, or change into a different form. A thermodynamic system is anything that we study. For example, gas inside a piston. So piston, we can see this one in the engine of the cars, motorcycle, and everywhere. When a gas is heated, its molecules move faster, which increases pressure and makes the piston move. So the first law of thermodynamics says that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only changed or transferred. In short, energy can move or change form, but the total energy stays the same. So the first law of thermodynamics. So this page explains that the first law using a popcorn example. When popcorn is heated, energy or heat goes into the popcorn. The popcorn's temperature and pressure increases, and causing it to expand and pop. When the lid moves up, work is done because the popcorn pushes it. So this is the formula of the first law of thermodynamics, which is Q is equal to change in the internal energy plus work done by the system. In short, the heat you add becomes the energy inside the system plus the work it does, like lifting the lid. And now, let's go to what are PV diagram. So PV diagram is P stands for pressure, which is on the vertical axis, and V is volume, is on the horizontal axis. As you can see on the picture, this one is vertical and this one is horizontal. So each point on the graph shows one possible state of the gas, its pressure and volume. When the gas changes, for example, when heated or cooled, the point moves, forming a path on the diagram. In short, a PV diagram shows how the pressure and volume of a gas change. So every point represents a different condition of the gas. When you press the piston down, the gas compresses. So volume decreases and pressure increases. When you let the gas expand, the piston moves up. So volume increases and the pressure decreases. In short, moving left in the graphs, compression or smaller volume. Moving right, expansion, bigger volume. So these are the four different situations that you expect to see in PV diagram. So these are isobaric or constant pressure, isobaric constant volume, and isothermal, constant temperature, and adiabatic, no heat flows in or out. And now let's go to isobaric process. So isobaric process is, imagine heating a cylinder with a movable piston. As the gas gets hotter, it expands, pushing the piston up. The pressure stays the same, but volume increases. The work done, it is area under the line on the PV diagram. So the formula for this is here, which is W is equal to P times V2 minus V1. So in short, when the pressure stays the same, the gas expands and does work by pushing the piston. And second is the isochloric process, or this explains the isochloric constant volume. So image gas in a container that cannot expand. When you add heat, the gas cannot change volume. So it increases pressure instead. Since the piston doesn't move, no work is done, or W is equal to 0. All the heat added becomes internal energy. In short, volume doesn't change, so no work happens, only pressure increases.
So number 3 is the isothermal process. So during this process, heat can enter and leave the gas, but the total energy in the gas will not change. Imagine a cylinder with a piston on top that is filled with a gas. The cylinder is sitting inside a large container filled with water. If anything happens to the cylinder that would normally cause a temperature change in the gas, the water will either absorb or release heat to keep the gas in the cylinder at a constant temperature. We have been holding down on the piston a bit, but now we release it so that the piston rises. The volume of the gas is expanding and the pressure inside will be dropping. Work is being done by the gas. So work is negative. So to keep the internal energy and temperature constant, the gas must be absorbing heat from the water, as long as the energy loss by the gas doing work equals the heat gained from the water. The internal energy will not change and the temperature stays the same. So delta U is equals to Q plus W. Delta U is equals to negative W plus W. Delta U is equals to 0. So kaning Q is heat ni siya, then kaning W is work. So the PV diagram we get shows a curved line as the pressure and volume both change. The line is called an isotherm because the temperature stayed the same. The isotherm is a curve. This happens because when the piston was being released, there was a sudden drop in pressure as the gas expanded. As the process continued, the pressure dropped more slowly as the volume increased. The area under the curve is still the work done. So this line shows the relationship between pressure and volume. So the curve is called an isotherm because the temperature stayed constant during the process. So pag release sa piston, and then ni-drop ra ang pressure, well, the gas stayed to expand. So as the expansion continues, so nihinay-hinay ubos ang pressure, and then even though the volume keep increasing, so the area of the curve represents the work, and then gibuhat siya sa gas. So in short, this curve isotherm shows that kung unsaon sa gas pag-expand at a constant temperature while doing work on its surrounding. So is adiabatic process. An adiabatic process is a process during which no heat enters or leaves the system. In an adiabatic process, heat flow Q is 0. Applying the first law of thermodynamics, if delta U is equal to Q plus W and Q is 0, the change in internal energy of the gas must be equal to the work done of the gas. Delta U is equal to delta W. So if the gas is compressed, work done on the gas is positive. The internal energy increases. If the gas expands, work done by the gas is negative. The internal energy decreases. So the PV diagram of an adiabatic process looks very much like an isothermal process, but it drops off to a lower point. So this means it is a different isotherm. In the adiabatic process where a gas expands, the work done by the gas causes the internal energy to decrease. So the temperature must decrease as well. Therefore, there is a drop to a lower isotherm. So next one is work done by a gas. When a force acts upon an object to cause a displacement of the object, it is said that work was done upon the object. In thermodynamics, however, work is defined as the energy it takes to move an object against a force. Work is one of the fundamental ways energy enters or leaves a system, and it has units of joules. Gases can do work through expansion or compression against a constant external pressure. Work done by gases is also sometimes called pressure volume. So let's consider gas contained in a piston. This is a good example of a thermodynamic system. If the gas is heated, the gas will exert more pressure in the container. These increasingly frequent collisions of gas molecules transfer energy to the piston and move it against an internal pressure, increasing the overall volume of the gas. So by this example, the given are m, which is the mass, is equals to 1 gram is equals to 1 times 10 raised to m is equals to 1 gram is equals to 1 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3 kilograms. The V1 is 1 gram is equals to 1 times 10 raised to the power of negative 6 m raised to the power of 3. So V2, 1.671 times 10 raised to the power of 3 m raised to the power of 3. So P, which is the pressure, is equals to 180 m is equals to 1.018 times 10 raised to the power of 5 newtons times meter per second. So here is the solution. So PdV, or pwede na po siya, W is equals to PdV. So the pressure here is 180 m, so it is equivalent to 1.013 times 10 raised to the power of 5 newtons times meter per square. So the solution is W is equals to PdV. So the P here, which is the pressure, is 1.013 times 10 raised to the power of 5 newtons times meter per square. And then kani siya is kuwari siya volume 2 and volume 1. So if ato na siyang i-solve, so ang magawas is 1.69.171 joules, but dili mo siya marato, so 169 joules na siya.
So let's now talk about thermodynamics. So thermodynamics literally means moving or evolving heat. So the science of thermodynamics is concerned with heat or temperature and its transformation to mechanical energy. So it's basically a study of heat, of a temperature or cold. It is also the study and the application of the thermal energy, often called the internal energy of systems. Since childhood, you have been developing a working knowledge of thermal energy and temperature. For example, you know how to be cautious with hot foods and hot stoves, and to store perishable foods in cool or cold compartments. So it is best to define terms that we shall be encountering as we move along, such as systems, surroundings, universe, internal energy, system, and system is the object or collection of object under study. Everything else is referred to as surroundings, and the system and surroundings constitute the universe. So the sum of kinetic energies of the molecules of a body and the potential energy due to intermolecular forces is called internal energy. So the molecules of a body and the potential energy is due to intermolecular forces is called internal energy. So now let's talk about the zeroth law of thermodynamics. So the zeroth was first formulated by R.H. Fowler in 1931. After the first law and the second law had been in use for some time. So thermal equilibrium, so now we are in thermal equilibrium. So it is the main concern of the zeroth law. And two bodies are said to be in thermal equilibrium if they have the same temperature. So the zeroth law of thermodynamics states that if object A is in thermal equilibrium with object B and object A is in thermal equilibrium with a third object, then object B must in thermal equilibrium. So basically, if A is thermal equilibrium with object B and C, then the object B must be in thermal equilibrium with object C. So it is connected. So here, let the temperature of objects A, B, and C be a temperature of A and temperature of B and temperatures of C. Temperature scale of A and temperature scale of B and temperature scale of C, respectively. If temperature of scale A equals temperature of scale B and temperature of scale A equals temperature of scale C, then the temperature of scale B is equal to temperature of scale C. So in effort, the zeroth law of thermodynamics is very similar to the transitive law in elementary algebra. So here, as you can see, the figure 1, the zeroth law of thermodynamics. So as you can see, the temperature of scale A is equal to temperature of scale B that is connected with temperature of scale C, where the temperature of scale B must be in thermal equilibrium with object C. So here, with object C. So temperature of scale of B is equal to temperature of scale of C. So here, you can see the hot and cold temperature is equal. So the heat flow is transferring to cold temperature. So the temperature, what is temperature? Temperature is one of the 7 SI-based quantities. So temperature is the degree of hotness and or coldness of an object. So on the molecular level, temperature is a measure of average kinetic energy of these molecules. So this idea of temperature is not new to us, since from our sensory experience we can tell whether an object is hot or cold. Like on water, we can determine whether it's cold or hot, because if you touch the cup, you can feel whether it's hot or cold. So in temperature scales, so for ordinary purposes, an approximate determination of temperature is sufficient. So igo lang siya. So however, for scientific purposes, a thermometer must be used. So kailangan ta mag-use of thermometer to measure the temperature. So several temperature scales have been devised. So gi-divide sila. So most common of which are the Celsius, Fahrenheit. So Celsius, Fahrenheit, Kelvin, Rankine, and the Reaumur. So as you can see, so we are familiar in these words. So first, we're gonna talk about the Celsius. So Celsius is also called a centigrade scale, was based on 0 degrees for the freezing point of water and 100 degrees for the boiling point of water. So it was introduced by Swedish astronomer Anders Celsius in 1742. So sometimes it is called centigrade scale because of 100-degree interval between the defined points, because the centigrade scale was based on 0 degrees, and for the freezing point of water is for the boiling point of water is 100 degrees. So now we are gonna talk about the Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit was based on 32 degrees for the freezing point of water and 212 degrees for the boiling point of water. So the interval between the two is 180 degrees. So basically, you're going to i-minus ang 212 sa 32. So it is equal to 180 degree. So muna between nila. So it was introduced by the 18th German physicist Daniel Gabriel Fahrenheit in 1724. That's why it's called Fahrenheit. So the relationship between the temperature in Celsius scale and temperature in Fahrenheit scale is as follows. So temperature of scale C is temperature of scale temperature in Celsius scale is equal to 5/9 times temperature in Fahrenheit scale minus 32 degrees. So now let's move to Kelvin. So Kelvin is the fundamental unit of Kelvin scale, an absolute temperature scale named for the British physicist William Thomson, more popularly known as Lord Kelvin in 1848 because he created the Kelvin. So each degree in the scale is a Kelvin. So the freezing point is defined to be 273.15 Kelvin, and that is the constant of Kelvin. And the melting point as 373.15 K, usually rounded to 273 K and 373 K. So respectively, there are 100-degree interval between the freezing and melting point in the Kelvin temperature scale, because you're going to minus the 373.15 minus 200. So you are going to minus 373.15 Kelvin minus 100 is equal to 273.15. So absolute zero is the lowest possible temperature below with no substance can be cooled. So the formula in converting Celsius scale to Kelvin scale is temperature of Kelvin scale is equal to temperature of Celsius scale plus 273.15 Kelvin, which is the constant, and the so we are going to move in Rankine. So Rankine scale is the thermodynamic absolute temperature scale. It has a base around the absolute zero and its Fahrenheit counterpart of Kelvin. So the formula in converting Fahrenheit scale to Rankine scale is temperature of Rankine scale is equal to temperature of Fahrenheit scale plus 460. So the Reaumur scale is also known as octogesimal division. So the freezing and boiling point of water are defined as 0 and 80 degrees. So there is a 80 between. So formulas to ponder in Celsius to Fahrenheit is temperature of Fahrenheit is equal to 9/9 and Celsius plus 32. So this is the formula of each. So basically there are 8 formulas. So the solution for number 1 example is, the temperature at the surface of the sun is 600 Kelvin. Convert this temperature to Celsius, Fahrenheit, Rankine, and Reaumur. So solution 1 is we are going to find the Celsius. So as you can see, the formula Kelvin into Celsius. So Kelvin into Celsius is Celsius is equal to Kelvin minus 73. So 6,000 minus 73 is 5,727. So you are going to follow this formula only. So if ma-follow nimo ang formula, maka-substitute na gyud ka sa tanan. So this is the thermal expansion. Thermal expansion is the joints are used to separate sections on roadways and bridges. So if wala ani, the surface would buckle due to thermal expansion on very hot days and crack due to construction on very cold days. So kaning dalong vertical joint is filled with a soft material that allows wall to expand and contract para mo expand pa siya para dili siya mo increase yung temperature. So here most materials expand when heated and contract when cooled. This changes the dimension of an object due to temperature change is called thermal expansion. So the linear expansion, linear expansion is the change in the length of a body when the temperature is changes. So the change of length of an object. So here, as you can see, the pi L is the change length in meter and the A is the average of coefficient of linear expansion. So the linear expansion formula is A is equal to pi L and L0 over pi t. So experiment for purposes of calculation, this is equation is usually rewritten as pi L is equal to A times L0 times pi of t. So to find the final length L, note that pi L is equal to L minus L0. Simple substitution gives L is equal to L0 times 1 plus A pi times pi t. So this is the table 1 coefficient of expansion for some materials. So the material is aluminum. So coefficient of linear expansion, so it's basically A, the A, to 2.4 times 10 raised to negative 5. And the coefficient of volume expansion, or the B, 7.2 times 10 minus is raised to minus 5. So as it follows, you can see that this is the constant of the coefficient of linear expansion of each material and coefficient volume expansion of each material. So the example here. So as you can see, a steel beam is used to construction of a bridge is 9.2 meters long at 20 degrees Celsius on a hot summer day, and the temperature increases to 40 degrees Celsius. So what is the change in length due to linear expansion? So the solution in here is you follow the formula. So L. So we're going to find the L. So it is 2.2 times 10 raised to negative 3 meters. So now we are going to volume expansion. So similar to linear expansion rin siya. So the volume of materials changes when temperature changes. So this is called volume expansion. So the change in volume pi V is proportional to initial volume. So this is the initial volume. So the change in volume is here, and the initial volume, and the change in temperature is here. So here is where the change of temperature of V is the change of volume in cubic meter. So you can find the final volume V by taking note that the temperature of the changes when temperature changes. So the change in volume V is equal to V and initial volume. So V is equal to initial volume times 1 plus B dayan ay change in temperature. So example show that average coefficient of volume expansion is simply 3 times coefficient of linear expansion. So B equals 3 times A. So first note that the final volume B is the cube of the final length L. So it is constant. So here. So the final is, so the solution is V is equal to initial of final initial length is raised to 3 times 1 raised to 3 plus 3 times 1 raised to 2, and A and change in temperature plus 3 times 1 and A times change in temperature is raised to 2 plus A in temperature raised cube. So the final is 3A. So comparing with, you see that B 3A. Example, a gasoline tank has car capacity of 60 liters at 20 degrees Celsius. If the tank is fully filled without a cover, how much gasoline will overflow if the car is left in the sun and the gasoline reaches a temperature of 45 degrees Celsius? So initial volume nato kay 60 liters, and convert the temperature into Celsius is 25 degrees Celsius because you're going to minus the 45 and 20 Celsius. So the B is 9.5 times 10 raised to negative 4. 0 Celsius is raised to negative 1. So the initial volume is 1.4 liters.
Let's proceed to the law of conservation of energy. So this states when a warmer substance loses heat to a cooler substance when the two substances are mixed. Using the law of conservation of energy, heat loss is equal to heat gain. And for example, determine the amount of water needed with initial temperature of 100 degrees Celsius that must be added to a 1.0 kilogram of water with a temperature of 10 degrees Celsius to have a final temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. So the given of warm water is MW, which is what we are going to look for, and CW, which is at constant 4.190 times 10 to the power of 3 joules per kilogram times degrees Celsius. Lastly, the delta temperature of the warm water is equal to temperature, the final temperature minus the initial temperature. So the given will be the same for the cold water. And for the solution, we have the formula, the negative mass of the warm water times the constant times the delta of temperature of the warm water is equal to the mass of the cold water times the constant of the cold water times the delta temperature of the cold water. So if we are going to replace all these variables, negative MW times 4.190 times 10 to the power of 3 joules per kilogram times degrees Celsius times negative 63 degrees Celsius is equal to 1.0 kilogram times 4.190 times 10 to the power of 3 joules per kilogram times the degrees of Celsius times 27 degrees Celsius. So when added or when calculated, it will become MW times 263,970 equals 113,113. So what happens next? So as we can see, we can solve it when we don't transpose it. So when we transpose the 263,970 to the left side, we are going to have a negative. So 263,970 divided minus 113,130 is equal to the 0.429 kilograms. So proceeding to the latent heat. So this states that when a substance often undergoes a change in temperature when energy is transferred between it and its surroundings, there are situations, however, in which the transfer of energy does not result in a change in temperature. This is the case whenever the physical characteristics of the substance change from one form to another, such as a change is commonly referred to as phase change. Two common phase changes are solid to liquid, which is melting, and from liquid to gas, which is boiling. Another is a change in the crystalline structure of a solid. All such phase changes involves a change in internal energy but no change in temperature. The increase in internal energy in boiling, for example, is represented by the breaking of bonds between molecules in the liquid state. Thus, bond breaking allows the molecules to move farther apart in the gaseous state, with corresponding increase in intermolecular potential energy. So this is the example in table 3, latent heats of fusion and vaporization. So this is an example. So if you are going to watch it from the video, you can pause it so you can look at it clearly. So let's move on to the mechanisms of heat transfer. Conduction. So in the previous grades that we have discussed, the teachers have discussed about conduction. So conduction is a mechanism of heat transfer that exchanges or transfers heat within a body or between bodies that are in contact with each other. So that can be easily comprehended. So conduction is wherein two bodies are in contact. So that when that happens, heat will be transferred through contact. So figure 2, this is when energy transferred through a conducting slab with a cross-sectional area A and a thickness delta x. The opposite faces are at different temperatures, which are temperature 1 and temperature 2. So as we can see, the temperature 1 is in this side, and the other side is the temperature 2. So the area is where temperature are placed. So it is convenient to use a symbol for power to represent the rate of energy transfer. So power is equal to the heat divided by the delta time. So note that P has units of watts when heat is in joules, and the delta time is in seconds. For a slab of infinitesimal thickness, the dx and temperature difference dt, we can write the law of thermal conduction as P equals Ka dt over dx, where the proportionality constant K is the thermal conductivity of the material, and dt is over dx is the temperature gradient, or the variation of temperature with position.
Proceeding to the formula for energy transfer by conduction, we have P equals Ka times T2 minus T1 over L. P is power, K is the constant 0.8 watts over meter times Kelvin, and A is area, T2 is the final temperature, T1 is the initial temperature, and L is the length. For an example, during summer, the air temperature in Dumaguete City can reach as high as 37 degrees Celsius. Consider an air-conditioned house with air temperature of 22 degrees Celsius. Calculate the rate of heat flow through a glass window that is 1.8 meters times 1.2 meters in area and 3.0 millimeters thick. So the solution would be P equals 0.8 watts meter times K times the area 2.16 meters squared times the final temperature 310 K minus 295 K, the initial temperature, divided by the length 0.003 meters. So 37 degrees Celsius was converted to Kelvin, which Kelvin has the formula for conversion from Celsius is 207. K equals 273 plus degrees Celsius. So that would be 273 times, or rather plus 37 degrees Celsius would be 310 K minus 273 plus 22 degrees Celsius is equal to 295 K. So that would lead us, or that would give us the Kelvin 310 K minus 295 K, whereas the millimeters, the 3.0 millimeters is converted to meters, and that would give us 0.003 meters. Going on to the calculation, P equals 0.8 watts over meter times Kelvin times the area 2.16 meters squared times 310 minus 295K would be 15K over 0.003 meters. So doing the cancellation of units, watts would be left. So P is equal to 8,640 watts. Convection is the transfer of heat by the movement of a fluid, which can be gases or liquids, from one region of space to another. For example, if you feel hot air or gas rising up when when you place a hand on top of a flame. Another is radiation. Radiation is a transfer of heat by the electromagnetic waves such as visible light, infrared, and ultraviolet radiation, which can propagate in a vacuum speed of light. The rate depends on the nature of the material, described by a quantity E called emissivity, which is described as follows. E is equal to the radiation of a particular material divided by the rate of radiation of an ideal radiating surface. So an example of this is a black pot and a white pot are both filled with water and are placed under the sun. Which of the two pots will heat up faster? And to answer that, note that a black pot has higher emissivity than a white pot. A good radiator is also a good absorber of electromagnetic waves. Thus, the black pot will heat up faster. Proceeding to the Boltzmann law. This can be applied to a star's stack in relation to its temperature's luminosity. It can also be applied to any object emitting a thermal spectrum, including metal burners on electric stoves and filaments in light bulbs. And an example of this is a student is trying to decide what to wear. The surroundings or his bedroom are at 20 degrees Celsius. If the skin temperature of the unclothed student is 35 degrees Celsius, what is the net energy loss from his body in 10.0 millimeters by radiation? Assume that the emissivity of skin is 0.900 and that the surface area of the student is 1.50 meters squared. To solve it, we are going to use the formula P net is equal to the constant 5.67 times 10 to the power of negative 8 watts meters to the power of negative 2 times Kelvin to the power of negative 4 times the area 1.50 meters squared and the emissivity 0.900 times the temperature 308 K minus 293 K. By calculating it, we will have 5.67 watts over 10 to the power of 8 meters squared times K to the power of 4 times the area 1.50 meters squared times 0.900 times 1629127.695. By calculating all those numbers, we will get 125 watts. At this rate, the total energy lost by the skin in 10 minutes is equal to the net is equal to the P or the power net times the delta time is equal to the 125 watts times the 600 seconds is equal to 7.5 times 10 to the power of 4 joules. Note that the energy by the student is roughly equivalent to that produced by two 60 watts light bulbs.